Hey guys, my name's Forrest and I'm an instructor in Jeet Kune Do under Sifu Chris Kent. And I've put together an online training series that's both free and packed with valuable information. So it's my hope to kind of have something to give back to the martial arts world on a bigger scale. And for those of you who may not have access to a place to train or may want to cross-train in something different, I think this video series will be very beneficial. So basically the idea is I want to put one video up every week, probably Saturday night, Sunday morning, and it'll be about 5 to 10 minutes long, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but if you keep in mind that in any given class an instructor spends about 5 to 10 minutes teaching and the rest of the time is spent practicing. So there should be plenty of information that you can work on through the week. And we're going to start from ground zero and move up. So if you've never trained in martial arts before, it doesn't matter, you'll do fine. Feel free to ask any questions, put any comments up so that I can kind of know where you're at. But this should be paced just perfectly for the beginner as well as for those who just want to kind of experience something new. Now, Jeet Kune Do is the art and philosophy of the late Bruce Lee. So it's a pretty recent martial art considering Bruce Lee died in 1973. And it's kind of hard to pin down exactly what Jeet Kune Do is, because it meant different things to Bruce Lee during different times. But basically, Jeet Kune Do is kind of the end result of Bruce Lee giving up on trying to find or create the perfect style and instead learning to find the common roots and to understand the principles of combat that make it effective in the first place. And so that way, when you learn to understand the principles and the concepts of Jeet Kune Do and what it is that lies behind the techniques in fighting, then you basically become your own instructor. You can look at different things and recognize what's going on. And at that point you can then, as the adage goes that Bruce Lee would use, absorb what's useful and reject what's useless. So the training is to learn how to recognize what's useful and what's useless. So we do follow an ongoing progressive process in Jeet Kune Do. It's not just kind of a grab bag mix of different techniques that Bruce Lee enjoyed. It's a very grounded, principle-based art. And the idea, I like to differentiate between the art of Jeet Kune Do and the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do. Technically they're one and the same, but for context-wise, the art of Jeet Kune Do is that systematic process of learning techniques in order to learn the principles behind the techniques. Then the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do is kind of a much more broad context, which we'll explore more through future videos as well. There's a quote that Bruce Lee said, which he said, Jeet Kune Do is like a boat that gets you across the river, but once you're on the other side, you don't carry that boat on your back. And of course what he meant was what I'm calling the art of Jeet Kune Do. The techniques get you across the river to where basically you understand martial arts and what's going on, but you don't carry that on your back. You learn how to integrate it into yourself and to absorb what's useful, reject what's not useful for you. Now, my lineage is Bruce Lee's probably his most well-known instructor under him is Dan Inosanto. And Dan Inosanto had a backyard group of students during Bruce Lee's lifetime, which my instructor was a member of the backyard group. And his name is Chris Kent. And I started training with Chris Kent when I was 13 years old. And I started teaching under him when I was about 17. And started teaching on my own when I was about 20, 21. And here I am. I'm 25 years old now. I've been teaching it. I love teaching martial arts. and I'm creating this video series as a way of kind of giving back to the whole martial arts community, because martial arts has made a huge impact in my life in a variety of ways and for a variety of reasons. And so I hope I can kind of give that back in some way. Now, if you don't have a training partner, if you can find one, it will make things a lot easier. But I'm going to try to show ways to practice things on your own, because if you're like me, before I started training officially in martial arts when I was around 10. I started with Shotokan Karate, but before that I had to learn from books, movies, magazines, all that. And I was obsessed with it, and so I took every opportunity I could to train. And videos are a great way to do that. So for those of you who may be in a similar situation, or just maybe want to practice on your own when you don't have a partner available, you know, this video series, I hope I can help out with that. So that's kind of a brief history. Obviously, this video, I'm not a video expert. I don't have a high expensive camera or know anything about real good editing or any of that. So it's going to be basic nuts and bolts as far as the video itself goes. But the material that I'm going to cover, I think if you can look past the kind of amateur video shooting, I think you'll really get a lot out of this video series. So I'm looking forward to doing this. I hope to hear from you. Please let me know what you like, what you don't like. We'll be able to explore any questions that you have and grow together in understanding the art of Jeet Kune Do and in being able to develop and grow. So thank you so much, and I'm planning on putting up the first video next week on, again, Saturday night, Sunday morning. So I'm looking forward to being there and training with you. Thank you so much. Bye.